Yo soy brasileño y peço permiso para hablar en inglés, porque la única oración que se dice en español es esta oración que estoy diciendo ahora, porque le memoricé palabra por palabra para poder explicarlos que voy a hablar en inglés. Si hablase portuñol, sería una ofensa para su idioma. Así que mejor ofender a Estados Unidos. So, I like to talk in English. My English is not very good, and that's good, because if your English is not very good, you will understand. So, I'd like to talk about comedy and innovation. You may think that comedy and innovation, they are not very related, but they are. Comedy and innovation are very close. Why? Because comedy is all about observing the world. Comedians are very good in observing the small issues that most of the people are not aware. But comedians, they don't want to solve these problems. They want to make them bigger because it's funny. So comedians, they observe the problems and they convert the problems into jokes and make fun out of them. And my point is, what if you take this comedian's mindset and instead of making jokes, you create opportunities and solutions? So comedy thinking is a theory I created that is about how the way comedians think can be useful to drive innovation. So I'd like to share with you now here some practical comedians' habits and techniques that anyone here can use no matter you do. Okay, first, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm from Brazil. I am a comedian and entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. That's fancy, serial entrepreneur. And when I was a teenager in the late 90s, internet was beginning in Brazil, and I created this website that got very popular in Brazil. It was an entertaining portal. It was a porn website, and I used it to scan Playboy pictures, and so far Playboy didn't have a website in Brazil. So if you want Playboy, come to me, baby. So all Playboy pictures, it really was on my website. I was 13 years old. My website had that warning, are you over 18? Yes or no? And that's the most useless question ever. Nenhum hombre es sincero o excitado. Never. And my website was not only Playboy. I had a lot of other stuff. And I won a national contest of best personal website twice. And then I started a career, very, very young, in internet. I created a startup in 1999. We didn't even call it startup. It was the first Brazilian website to order food, deliver food. Then I almost got millionaire, but I broke. The internet boomed, the internet crashed, and then I created a web development company that lasted for almost 10 years. And 10 years ago, I was in my graduation from business administration. I was elected as class speaker, and so far, I had never been funny in my whole life. I was this nerd, geek, neurotic, workaholic, business, young teenager, and they chose me to be the speaker, and I thought I should do a funny speech, because it's graduation. So I started studying why people laugh. There's amazing universe about this. So I studied, and it worked. I did a speech, and it was funny, and after my graduation, all my colleagues, they went home thinking, now I am a business administrator. And I was thinking, now I'm a comedian. So I started my career in the graduation of business administration, and for the next 2 years, I was with my company and doing shows, comedy shows. It was like hooker's life, you know, like a regular job day and at night some crazy stuff. And after 2 years, I was kind of bored about internet, innovation, employees and clients. I hate clients. And I decided to quit. Fuck innovation, let's make jokes. And I started a career in Brazil as a comedian. I used it to run the Brazilian version of an American TV show called Impractical Jokers. Last year, I hosted a TV show at Comedy Central, Brazil, and I have my special on Netflix now. But last year, I was kind of missing innovation, technology, internet, so I decided to apply to Singularity University at NASA, and I was approved. And there I met Pablo, and now we conclude that Singularity is not very good in selecting people. No? And it was an amazing, crazy experience at Singularity. And Pablo started today telling that Red Innova, it's about connecting people, and creativity, it's about connecting ideas. And it's perfect. Creativity, it's about connecting ideas. And I really believe on that. And some people think that creativity is creating 100% original, never seen before solution. It's not. All creative solutions are combinations of previous solutions. All, everything. Steve Jobs didn't create iPhone from scratch. No. Someone before him had created mobile phone, touchscreen, palm top, personal assistants. Steve Jobs only combined all this stuff in a way that nobody had combined it before. So I don't even like the word creativity, because creativity reminds creation. And a lot of people think, oh no, I can't create, I'm not a creator. I like the word combinativity. I created this word, combinativity. Yes, because everything is a combination. Every single thing is a combination. You just need to do a reverse engineer and you will find out that it's a combination. There was only one creator in the world, Big Bang, or God. From then, every single stuff was a combination. Even you are a combination of your father and your mother. Everything is a combination. There's an author, a book from the 60s, The Act of Creation. Amazing book. You have free on PDF, on Google. Amazing book, The Act of Creation, Arthur Koestler. And he says that, he uses the word bisociation. He says that whenever you take two concepts from different universes and you take these concepts and you make a juxtaposition, you create art. Art is the juxtaposition of two concepts. When you take two concepts and you make a fusion of them, you make science and innovation. And when you take two concepts, or more concepts of course, from different universes, and you collide them, you make a collision, you create comedy. So comedy and innovation are very close. They kind of start very similar, and at some point, they go in different paths. So, based on Arthur Koestler, comedy thinking is a bisociation of stand-up comedy, design thinking, and this. This is, do you know this screen? This is the BIOS, right? The BIOS. BIOS comes from basic input-output system. It's a basic input-output system. And I believe creativity is this. It's a basic input-output system. How it works? The inputs, it's everything you see, you hear, you read. It's all your knowledge, your experiences. It's your inputs. It's your database. It's your hard drive. And then you process these inputs. You combine them. You combine them, you can juxtapose, you can make fusion, you can make a collision, whatever you want. And then you have the output. Of course, the output is the outcome, is the deliverable, is the creative solution that you come up with, and you have to share with someone in some way. And then you have the feedback loop, of course. The feedback loop is based, you validate your output, and this validation becomes a new input that you have to process. So creativity is only this. So it's obvious that if you have a lot of good, interesting inputs, and you process very good, you have a good output. The output, the creative solution, is just a consequence. The big point is having good inputs and doing a good processing. And I realized that comedians are very good in this cycle. They don't even know that, but they are very good in each of these steps. Look, Comedians, they see the world in a very specific and different way. So they get exclusive inputs. And they combine these ideas in a lot of crazy and different ways. Comedians, they are very good in outputting. Why? Because they accept failure very well. So they are always outputting. They have no fear. And of course, they value feedback. So, what I like to do now is go deep in each of these 4 steps and tell you how comedians do in each of these steps and how can you think like a comedian and be more creative. So, first point, see the world. Jerry Seinfeld, I believe everybody knows Jerry Seinfeld, he used it to say that comedians, they use X-ray glasses that make the comedians to see the world in a different way. Comedians look to the world that everybody looks, but they see something different because they are searching for something different. You will never find out if you're not searching for. You have to be searching for something different. For instance, you are on the street and you see someone with an umbrella. Have you ever thought that umbrella is a product with a huge misconception? Why? What is the best part of the umbrella? What's the part that you get most protected? Is the middle of the umbrella. But the umbrella's handle is exactly in the fucking middle. The handle should be in the edge so you can be in the middle. It's not fair. You pay for the umbrella and you get wet on the back. And the handle is playing boss. I'm the fucking handle, I don't get wet. That's not fair. So this is a problem that needs a solution. Comedians identify these problems, but they don't want to make solutions. They want to fuck the problem even more. Yeah? Toothpaste. The toothpaste lid, tapa, the toothpaste lid, is exactly as the same size as the sink drain. La rueda de la bacha, see? It's the same size. It's incredible. It seems like they calculated to fit perfect and fuck humanity because it always falls and you can't remove. That's why God created the pinky, to remove. Otherwise, it's impossible. So it's crazy because it's a very simple problem that could be an innovation. Maybe a toothpaste brand could make the tapa bigger and it would be something different in a universe that is all the same products, you know? It's crazy that the toothpaste always falls. The tapa and the paste. The paste has kind of a suicide behavior, no? It's always falling. And usually the paste falls in the sink. Except if you are with a t-shirt with a different color from the paste. Then it falls on you. Because they want to fuck humanity. That's why pajamas are striped. To combine with the toothpaste. So it's interesting, this stuff, because comedians observe this stuff and they take these inputs and comedians don't trust the brain. They don't trust. They don't trust this hard disk here. They don't trust. So comedians take notes. All comedians, all professional comedians in the world, they have a notepad or they use Evernote or something like that. They're always taking notes of their inputs. As soon as they see, they just take notes. And don't need to be genius inputs. Don't need to be, no way. Because a good idea is the sum of 2 or more medium ideas. And a medium idea is the sum of 2 or more bad ideas. So the bad ideas are very important to be combined and grow. So I have a specific method to storage my inputs. I will show you. I'd like to ask everybody to close their eyes. Really. Close your eyes. Please, just a minute. Close your eyes. I will close as well. And imagine a spreadsheet. Like Microsoft Excel, okay? A spreadsheet with rows and columns. Rows and columns, okay? Now, imagine column B. Just column B. And imagine that in each row of column B, you write an input, something that you saw somewhere and you thought that maybe sometime this can be connected or combined with some other input and can be something. So in each row of column B, you write an input, B1, B2, B3. Imagine a lot of inputs. I have 8,000 inputs. Column B. Now, look to column A. Column A. At column A, you put a keyword that refers to the input next to him, like a category. And now comes magic. Now, you take column A and you order it alphabetically. Open your eyes. What happened? An input that you have in 2008 about the toothpaste tapa comes together with another input about toothpaste, suicide, and pajamas that you have in 2012. So you force the inputs to get connected. And of course, you can review the categories all the times and reorder alphabetically to get them connected. It's kind of crazy, but works. So, about combination, comedians are very good in combining ideas. Let me ask you something. What is the difference between a woman and a gun? Anyone? What's the difference between a woman and a gun? No one? Really? No one? Can speak, come on, output. No? Well, the difference is a woman is a person and a gun is an object. That's the difference. Don't you know that? Are you having sex with guns? That's the difference, really. That's the main difference between a woman and a gun. Of course, there are other differences. In a gun, you can put a silencer. No? But my point here is, when I ask you what's the difference, or if I ask what's in common, when you feel that it's a riddle, acertijo, see? When you feel that it's an acertijo, your brain automatically thinks, I can't answer the obvious answer. I can't answer the logical answer. I have to think something crazy. I have to create a crazy connection, combination between these two concepts, something creative, something funny, something out of the box. So, people live, when I answer that woman is a person and gun is an object, I'm using concrete thinking. It's a very logical, rational, it's exact, it's perfect, it's adult, it's analytic. When I answer any other answer, like funny one, like silencer one, I'm using abstract thinking. It's illogical, irrational, it's kind of crazy, it's paradoxical, metaphorical, it's like a dream, it's like a guess, it's like a child, it's comedian thinking. And people live with this concrete thinking switch as default every time. And sometimes when they feel it's an acertijo, they switch to abstract thinking. Comedians, they live with the abstract thinking switch as default. And sometimes they switch to concrete thinking so they don't go to jail. And it's interesting that why people are not able to switch to abstract thinking whenever they want. Why you have to wait for a riddle, for a acertijo. You don't have to wait. And you may ask like, Murilo, this abstract thinking mode is not useful to solve problems or create innovation. You just say bullshit and idiot stuff. Yes, abstract thinking will not give you the solution, but abstract thinking will lead you to a path that you would never go in the first place. When you face a problem, you have the obvious path here in front of you. That's the path that everybody is going. Then you have some creative paths like here and like here that some people are going. When you use abstract thinking, you go in a crazy, motherfucking crazy path, very far. It's like kicking the ball out of the stadium. And at that point, you switch to concrete thinking. And now it's an adult thinking. And it says, come on, let's remove this no. And then you come a little to reality. And you finish in a point that you would never be in the first place. So abstract thinking, thinking like a comedian, opens new doors, new possibilities that you would never open in the first place. It's very interesting because to this work, it's necessary, the output. It's necessary to accept failure. Because people are afraid to say dumb stuff, idiotic stuff. People are afraid to be abstract thinking if you're not asking an acertijo. People are afraid. I do consulting in companies, creative problem-solving consulting in Brazil, and the biggest problem of the popular brainstorming technique is that people are afraid to share their ideas. Oh, it's a brainstorming, let's share ideas. The problem is that people usually think like this. Let me see if my idea is really good. Let's see. Maybe, no, it's not. Never mind. And they don't share. But we need this bad idea to combine with another bad idea and make a medium idea to combine with another medium idea, make a good idea. So people don't share the bad ideas. And I have a solution for this. What I do is, and you can do, usually before starting the session, I propose this question, 20 minutes. What is the worst solution to this problem? What is the most idiotic solution with the worst cost benefit ever, even illegal solution? Yeah, 20 minutes. Who gets the best, worst solution gets a reward, gets a free dinner. And for 20 minutes, everybody becomes a comedian. Everybody starts thinking like a comedian. Abstract thinking mode on. And it's beautiful, it's wonderful. When I do this, there are 3 interesting benefits. First, the environment gets funny, obvious. People say stuff and people laugh, and the environment gets funny, and this is good. Second, you let people go crazy. It's good. People kick the ball out of the stadium. Open new doors, a lot of new doors, new possibilities. And third, the most interesting, you establish the floor very down. Let me explain. You say a lot of idiotic stuff, and then you start the real brainstorming. At this point, the probability of someone saying something that is worse than what have been said is very low. Because so many idiotic stuff have already been said. And if at this point someone says something very dumb, people will say, oh, this one you should have said before, ha 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 ha, and it's good. So everybody is comfortable, it's confident to output their ideas, and you start getting connections. Né? But it's not enough, this. It's not enough to accept failure. At Singularity, it's very interesting how the Silicon Valley embrace failure. I really thought that this, fail fast, fail often, I thought it was a bullshit. Just blah, blah, blah. But at Singularity, I realized it's not a bullshit. They really embrace failure. And some people, as me, think it's a bullshit because maybe they don't understand what failure means to Silicon Valley. Failure is not necessarily big fails, like bankruptcy. No. Anything that you do that's not okay, it's a fail. Any single small thing, it's a fail. And each fail is necessarily followed by a learning. If it's not followed by the learning, you are a loser. But it's necessarily followed by learning. And it's interesting that when we were kids at school, they teach us the scientific method. Yes? And the scientific method is based on trial and error, right? But at school, they also teach us that we should avoid fails. We should not try. We should avoid. It's totally contradictory. They teach the scientific method based on trial and error, and they teach to avoid trying. They teach just go when you're sure that's going to work. And innovation and science don't work, and comedy don't work like this. A comedian must accept failure in order to go on stage and to say stuff. So, not only accept failure, but really feed it back. Feedback is a word popular in all over the world, but some people think that feedback is just an opinion or a critic. No. If you get an opinion and you don't feed it back, it's not a feedback. You have to feed it back. You have to put back as an input, as a learning. Some people listen to the opinion and don't feed it back. It's important. All comedians, professional comedians, after the show, the presentations, just after, they take the notepad and they take notes, what's wrong, what was good, which part I was expecting laughs and there was no laughter, which part I was not expecting and there was. The comedians process the feedback right on time, and you're sure that the next day, the next presentation, they will have an improvement in their material. In my first 3-4 years of career, I used to record all my presentations, audio recording, the audio, and I open the audio in my computer, and the audio graph is my analytics. Through the audio graph, I can see how my presentation was. I can see the top moments, the moments with no laughs, and I can rearrange my material, and I can increase the density of jokes. That's really valuable feedback. You have to process the feedbacks really. I believe everybody here is familiar with lean startup. I'm sure. Comedians do lean startup. They create the prototype of the joke, the MVP, and they validate it in the market, in the audience. They validate, and they take the validation and they use it to increase their product, their jokes. So, as I said, combinativity, comedy thinking is a combination. It's a combination of stand-up comedy, a combination of design thinking, and a combination of the creative process, the basic input-output system. But comedy thinking has a huge difference from design thinking. Design thinking is methodology. You use design thinking when you need to solve a problem to create a solution. So, we have a problem, okay, so let's use design thinking and solve this problem. Comedy thinking is not a methodology. Comedy thinking is a habit. You can't use now. You have to use in your whole life, every time, collecting different inputs, processing, combining them in crazy ways, outputting them a lot to get validation, and feedbacking the input to get more combinations. So you don't use comedy thinking. You have to be a comedy thinker. Thank you very much. Pablo.
Murilo, parabéns.
Parabéns. Gracias, muchas gracias. Hablo español.
Qué grande. Qué bueno. Bueno.
Peço permiso para hablar inglés. Yo solamente sé esa frase. Esa oración.
¿Cuál? ¿Permiso para hablar?
Para hablar inglés, porque esa es la única oración que sabía falar. No, I forgot. It was just for that moment.
Bueno, si hay alguna pregunta, amigos, acá en la audiencia, y si no, ya podemos pasar al happy hour, que más happy que nunca con Murilo abajo. ¿Alguna pregunta? Output.
Without fear
aquí hay una pregunta, sí, compatriota.
¿Dónde están las Playboys?
¿Dónde son?
¿Dónde están?
¿Dónde están? Están grudadas las páginas. You can open. Got it? No.
No entendí ni la pregunta ni la respuesta.
¿Dónde están las Playboys?
Ah, las Playboys.
Come on, Xvideos, man. Xvideos, fuck Playboy. Xvideos now. RedTube.
Quality instead quantity.
¿Cómo?
Quality instead of quantity.
Yeah. Yeah.
¿Alguna pregunta intelectual más? Sí. Gracias.
Sí.
¿La puedo preguntar en inglés o en español?
Sí. Como quiera. Español.
Sí.
challenge.
Bueno, definitivamente me parece genial todo lo que dijiste.
Muy grato.
Creo que en muchos casos se han visto de que gente como Steve Jobs, por ejemplo, hizo una broma en una de sus presentaciones hace muchos años cuando él era ejecutivo de Apple. En ese entonces no hacía muchos iPhones, porque claro, no habían. Y definitivamente se mostró en una broma un teléfono muy antiguo, muy viejo, con una idea de que pueda pasar a ser un celular. Y luego él, en la presentación de Apple, donde presentaron el primer iPhone, mostraron la combinación de un iPhone que tenía un teclado que rotaba, como el teléfono antiguo.
Sí.
Y al final de cuentas, ahí lanzaron el iPhone 1, pero fue tan fue tan chistoso que al final es algo que todos queremos o que muchos utilizamos, ¿no? Entonces, la verdad creo que las mejores ideas salieron de un proceso de creación abstracta y que pasaron a la realidad y cambiaron el mundo. Eso nada más. Muchísimas gracias. ¿Y qué opinas, Cecilia?
I agree.
Qué buen comentario, así es.
I understood and I agree.
Así es.
Compreendo completamente. Acho positivo. ¿No? Concordo.
Muy bien.
What else? Output. No fear
Pasale el
of
micrófono
saying
a él que
dumb
seguro
stuff.
va a preguntar algo que siempre pregunta. Después te paso el micrófono a vos, dale. A ver.
¿Cuánto sentís que el inglés te limita para hacer la presentación?
¿Cómo?
How much?
Calm. Relax.
Did you feel that making the presentation in English limit you? How much?
Oh yeah, a lot. Limit a lot. I mean, usually, to speak in English, I had to write a little to write, and in Portuguese, I don't write. I just start speaking, you know. And to me, to speak in English is much more difficult, but I did it. I'm a winner.
Bueno,
Anything else?
ok.
¿Alguna más? ¿No? Singularity.
Sí. Una anécdota es que... uy, sí.
Una
No, es que me da un poco de miedo.
Una combinación.
Pero supuestamente había que, el día que fuimos juntos al laundry, teníamos que hacer vivías dentro del campus de la NASA y supuestamente como a 3, 4 cuadras había las típicas, ¿cómo se llaman? Donde lavas la ropa y tenías que lavar la ropa. Y Murilo, parece que acá estábamos mal acostumbrados porque con Murilo fuimos por primera vez a lavar la ropa ahí, todos iban, los 80 iban mínimo 1 o 2 veces por semana, y nosotros o teníamos mucha ropa o no nos gustaba lavar, pero fuimos juntos la semana número 4 a lavar toda la ropa, y Murilo tiraba la ropa, las remeras, ponele con las zapatillas, con los cordones, y después salía un tirabuzón de la zapatilla, un tirabuzón de cordones con una remera perfectamente enganchada, muy creativa, por cierto. Sí. Y otra anécdota, perdón, ya que estamos en una anécdota que no fue en Singularity, sino Murilo me invitó, me dijo, venite, y me invitaron a ir a hablar a Ginebra, en Suiza. Venite conmigo también, no sé, te presento a la gente que organiza este evento y vení a hablar. En Suiza, como es así muy social y todo, les encantan las cosas latinoamericanas, ¿no? Es como vamos a traer y que nos cuenten de cómo es Latinoamérica, etcétera. Entonces en el transporte público te subís al tren, a todo, y a los autobuses y obviamente no te piden ticket de nada. Pero no sé por qué se sentía mal Murilo de subirse en el transporte público, valía como 10 euros el ticket de colectivo. Murilo, por supuesto, bueno, a mí me habían regalado uno en la conferencia, vos no sé por qué no tenías.
I'm kind of lost, but okay. I'm lost.
You're lost.
No what you're saying.
Ok, bueno, ¿te acordás? Entonces pagó la máquina pagó un viaje en colectivo como 10 euros, que obviamente jamás le pudieron el ticket, pero me dijo, por favor, sacame una foto porque soy la humillación de Brasil. El primer brasilero que compra un ticket en Ginebra.
Thank you. See you later. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Final del día 1 de Red Innova. Espero que lo hayan disfrutado. Gracias a todo el equipo Red Innova, a todos los que están de Colorado, que han hecho un gran trabajo, a toda la producción, luz, sonido. tomamos un happy hour abajo y mañana los espero a todos a partir de las 8:30 de la mañana y seguimos con más Red Innova. Gracias.